Well, I was lucky enough to travel around my country. It is a big country, territory-wise. It's 11 times bigger than South Korea, yes. And I traveled by making a documentary series about environmental problems. So I got to know many different problems we face in our country. And I think that was what inspired me to tell a story about this particular place that is suffering these long droughts. And I also always wanted to tell a love story, a true love story between a couple that only needed each other and nothing else in the world, and that they needed to prepare themselves for a farewell. So I think those two things combined and ended up being Utama.
네, 사실 제가 이제 이 영화를 찍기 전에 환경 문제에 관련한 어떤 다큐멘터리
Yes, they are not professional actors. It was their first time having such an experience. The grandson, he is a professional actor. And we rehearsed a lot. We rehearsed around 6 to 8 weeks before the shooting. And I worked with a coach, an acting coach, that gave them an express acting workshop. And what was really easy with them is that they are a true couple in real life, so that the chemistry was already there. It was a beautiful process, actually. We were actually looking for locations, and I saw her standing outside her home, and I asked the driver to stop because I thought she was really beautiful and tender. And then her husband came out, and he was also very attractive. So I thought that they were perfect for the role. And I asked them to be part of the film, and at first they were not interested, but then we convinced them. And yes, their work is amazing because they are really performing other characters. They are not that way in real life, so it's really an acting work, and they did an amazing work. Something in her glance. She has something in her glance that you can see that in the film, and for him too, you can see they have very expressive eyes. Yeah. No, there are not autobiographical things in this story, but I think a lot of the exploration that is in the film is the way many Bolivians feel. We are a country that was founded. We have many different ethnicities inside, and we have like this permanent struggle to find our identity. I think every country has a very strong relation between the countryside and the cities. We had a very quick change in the last 50 years. In the 70s, 70% of the population lived in the countryside in Bolivia. And now 80% of the population lives in the cities. So the countryside has been left abandoned, and the cities are made out of migrants from different parts of the world, and from, of course, the Spanish, and then other migrations that came from Europe after the war, and the indigenous population that also migrated to the city. So I think the main exploration is identity. There's a particular thing in this place. It's at 3,600 meters above sea level. So the sound travels in a different way. It's faster, and the air is so thin, there's no pressure, that you can hear everything. So we wanted to translate that to the soundtrack, to hear everything, and it's actually that way. When you're there, There's no trees. Everything is so peaceful and silent that you can hear everything. We have actually more land that is part of the Amazon. And we have, of course, huge environmental problems there because we are burning the Amazon, so we can have more space, so we can to have cattle, to export meat. It's not even for our own consumption. And of course, this is a problem for the entire world, but it is a problem that needs to be addressed in a different way than I think that it's been addressed. The film, I would love to make a documentary about that because I think it would be more powerful. But for now, I'm making a fiction as well, and similar than Utama, it has this environmental problem as a background. But I have a story about a group of very young people, so now not elderly anymore, but youngs, that live their lives there. So it's set in the Amazon.